Hello, my name is Mary and I'm going to teach you how to make a paper hydrangea. Pretty excited about this and I hope you are too. If you got my kit and you're watching this, you're going to get a few things. A chopstick. So if you didn't get my kit, you need to get one. Okay, a stem, a roll of floral tape. I'm giving you 2 leaves, 75 beads on wire. Okay, see what that looks like if you want to make your own. And then 75 pre-cut petals. Okay, the petals need to have a hole in the middle of them. You can use a tack, thumbnail tack, poke a hole. Okay, let's get going. First things first, the life of the flower is in the curling of the paper. Okay, so you are going to push your thumb over the chopstick. So think of it like curling a ribbon with scissors at Christmas time. You can overdo it, so just do it nice and slow. Hold on to the paper because you don't want to rip it. That's the only thing that could go bad. Pull too hard, you're going to rip the paper, right? So just do it slow to start. Okay, and see how that forms your flower? There's no really wrong way to do this. You could curl it really tight. That's just going to make your overall flower smaller. And you could curl it really loose. You could have some go in, some go out. Look, have some go that way, some go both ways. The best thing to do is to make them all a little different. Don't do them all exactly the same. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the whole thing so I can time it and see how long it'll take to make. And I'll fast forward so you don't have to watch me do the whole thing. But ready, set, go. Let's curl the petals. Okay, last one. I just did the fast method, but if you want to add a little bit more character, you can get in there and do it a little bit tighter. That just really adds more character. So feel free to do that. You can also color on them. That's something I love. Before you curl them, take either like a soft pastel, or you could use paint, or you could use a color pencil. Watercolor pencil is really beautiful. Go through and do a light coloring. That adds a really nice touch. It's like really gorgeous. It'll just add a little bit more time. So feel free to do that if you want. Okay, next step, beads on wire. Really, we need something that's going to make the petal so that it has something to hold on to. So it doesn't have to be a bead on wire. It could be all sorts of things. It could be like the tip of a pin. That'd be an easy thing to do, but then you don't have really a stem. It could be like they make at the craft store. There's all sorts of little things with knobby ends. So be creative, do whatever you want. But for this kit, if you bought my kit, you're gonna have beads on wires made for you. And that is just a bead put into a wire. You can do it yourself if you like. See what that looks like? Okay. And I'll show you how that goes. Both wires into your hole, poke your hole if you don't have one. Okay. That easy. Okay. Now, I said that there were 3 ways to make these: hard, medium, or simple. So I'm going to show you the simple one first. The simple one, the thing is that, see, you need something that's going to hold this up. So that's what we're going to do. 3 ways to do it. The easiest one would be just to bend it. Okay, so you just bend the tip, bend it a couple times, and then bring it straight. Okay, see what I did there? So let me show you what that looks like. You want the top to still look like this, so you just see the bead. You don't want it to look all wonky. And the back, see what I mean? That's probably the easiest for kids. Just give yourself a little bend. It's gonna take you a little while, but it's nice and easy, okay? So that is one way to do it, easiest way. Second way, I chose pink for this one so that you could see it better than a white or cream one on the video. Okay, it could be any color center. Okay. The second easiest way to do it would be to use floral tape. Now, floral tape is not tape. So don't think of it like tape. That's gonna mess you up because it doesn't stick to itself. It's actually wax. It's wax crepe paper, okay? So look at this. It stretches. You have to stretch it, okay? So the second easiest way I would say is to go through and cut or rip yourself a handful of pieces that are about this long. Handful is in 75 if you're gonna do the whole thing, okay? And then pre-stretch it, okay? And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap just start by putting the tape on. Don't think of it as tape, think of it as wax. You're molding wax, okay? So you're gonna twist the wax around itself. Don't worry about that. Just do it down low, twist it so it's nice and tight, okay? See what I did there? Nice little like knob, and then push that up to the top, and that'll hold it up, okay? So you could use like clay, a little bit of clay would do it. You could use wax on its own, but I would just use, this is the easiest. Just a little bit, stretch it, twist it on down here, pull it up, nice and strong, okay? Now, if you want it to be really legit, really professional looking, this is the hardest way. So if you want to try the hard way, you totally can, okay? So poke the wires through. Take your floral tape. And I always start down low because it's just so tiny, and twist it on a couple of times. Push it up to hold it, and then twist it. So it's a combination of twisting the wire and with the other hand stretching the floral tape. Okay, so you want the floral tape to be nice and stretched, but you can twist it all the way down. You don't have to go all the way down because we're going to tape it. You can. These flowers can either be completely little individual flowers, or you can bundle them together in small bundles, or you can bundle into one big one. So we're going to make one big one because, woo, it's beautiful. See what I did there? I covered the whole wire, so that way you won't see the wire when you make your final piece. But I think that's just a really picky step, and it is beautiful, but it's unnecessary. So for this example, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this one. Okay? So give me a minute and I'll make all these, and I'll get back to you when I'm done. Okay, got them all done. Now I have to do tape. Now I recommend getting yourself like a little cup or something that you can put the flowers into at this point. Just makes it a lot easier, okay? I'm gonna pre-cut all of my tape because I think that that's the easiest way to do it. I'm gonna pre-stretch it. Okay. The first method I showed you that you don't use tape is definitely the easiest, but for me, it's not the fastest. So I'm going to do this. But you do you. Whatever works good for you, okay? So I'm just going to cut these up. It's about that big. Okay, these are all cut. Now, the thing to remember was to pre-stretch them. I think that's the easiest. If you don't stretch it, it's really difficult. So, stretch, okay? And that's always with paper flowers. Another trick you can do is to open the stem. So you can see that? Okay. And then put the tape in between the stem and then fold it over, bunch it together. That gives you a little bunch to work with. And then you start kind of trying to wrap the bunch around. Okay. And then as soon as you get it around a couple of times, then just twist it with your fingers. Push and roll. This is probably going to feel awkward at first. Sorry about that. There's nothing I could do to help you. Just practice. By the end, it's going to be good. So just take your time. There's no need to rush. Have fun. You can do the easy way if you want by bending. And really, this is just a way so that the flower will not fall down. Okay? So make sure it's nice and tight. Remember, you're rolling wax. So just think of it like molding wax. Pull it up, nice and tight. Okay? Now let's go. Okay, last one, I did it. Now, I made that look easy with hyperspeed, right? Sped up the film, no big deal, whoop, 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 it's done. But the trick is that this is wax. So the friction of your fingers is melting the wax. You're molding it together, get it so it's nice and tight together. You don't want the tape to come unraveling with itself. So really just get it nice and molded, okay? And then push it up. But I understand that for those of you who've never worked with floral tape or your hands aren't strong, you're not gonna be happy about that. So let me show you the other way again. All right, so you wanna make sure that this bead is pointy. You don't wanna get that stem pushing up on the side. Okay, so just bend it down. So you give it a 90-degree angle and then push it with your finger, bend it the opposite way, create some sort of a tiny little spiral, okay? Okay, you see what I'm saying? Just give it a little edge there to hold it. So that, for me, is more time consuming, but for you, it might be better. So you do what is good for you, okay? Because I want you to have fun. This is a fun project. It's gonna take you a little while. I'm already 55 minutes into this project, and I am fast, much faster than any employee I've ever trained. I've been doing this since 2002. Okay, that's a lot of paper flowers. So take your time, have fun with this project. It might take you a couple days. Put it down, come back to it. It's gonna be really rewarding at the end. Okay, now, look at all those. Is that so pretty? So we can make one huge hydrangea. I just threw them all on the ground. Hold on a second. We can make one big hydrangea, or you can make a couple small ones. That is up to you. I'm gonna make one big one, but say right now they're in thirds. So like that would be about the size. If you wanted, you could make like 3 small ones. That'd be really pretty. Like put them in arrangement, like 1, 2, 3, build it, put a couple other flowers around it. But I'm gonna show you the trick about how to make one big one, okay? So I've included a stem. The stem I made for you is 3 18-gauge wires taped together, okay? So I'm gonna put about a third of these to the side to use as filler flower. okay? So roughly 25 flowers or so. And then the remaining flowers, I'm going to break up into 3. This is not a perfect science. You don't have to count them out. If you want to, if that's the type of person you are, go for it. Okay. So, I want them all to be about the same length of each other. And it doesn't really matter to start. You can mess with this after you've started. I'm going to take the floral tape, and remember what I told you about floral tape. You have to stretch it. Otherwise, it doesn't stick to itself. Okay? So I'm going to tape these all together at the bottom. Okay. Something like that. This doesn't matter. We're going to tape over it. Okay? So right now, you're going to tape this, and now we're going to move the flowers so that they're all about the same heights as each other. Push some down, pull some up. Okay? See what I'm doing? Try to make them all about the same length. Like this one's hiding, so I can pull it up a little bit. This one's hiding, pull it up a little bit. Spread them out, pull this one. Okay, so that makes your nice big base. I'm going to do that 3 times. Okay, tape the bottom. Okay, and then go through, do the same thing. See, like I've got this little one hiding down here. So I'm going to pull it up, pull one out, pull this one up, pull them all out so they're about all flat. You want to see them all. Okay, these are a mix of whites and creams. Okay, about that. Last one. Near the bottom. You're not going to see this tape. We're going to tape it onto the stem. So don't worry too much about it. It's just holding the flowers in place. Okay, so see I made this, see how unequal those are? So we're going to pull it up, pull some up, try to make them all about the same height. You can push some down, pull some up. Okay. Okay, see, about like that. So now we have 3 balls that we're going to tape together to make one big ball. So you got your stem. So it's going to be about that big. Now see how you can see the green? That was my example, but I taped it all the way down. You wouldn't see that green. That looks a little bit more classy. So if you feel like doing that, go for it. It'll take more time, but it'll be really pretty. So it's worth it. Okay, so I'm just going to, let's see, it's about 3 inches, about. Okay. I'm going to tape this first one on to the big stem. I'm going to go ahead and just tape it all the way on. When you get down to this point where you see you have all the wires hitting the stem, just give it a little extra tape because you don't want to bend that part of the wire and have all the little wires come poking out. Okay, so just give it a little extra, tape it down. Okay, next one. Bunch it in there. Okay. Okay. And tape that one on. The key is to stretch that floral tape. If you don't stretch the floral tape, it's not going to be very tight. It's going to want to unravel itself. So just do it nice and slow, stretching the tape as you go, twisting the wire with your hands. Same thing, when you get down to that part, do a little bit of extra. Okay, so I'm going to basically do 3 of these. Okay, so pretty. Okay, so I like to take a minute and pull these apart a little bit, stretch it out. Okay, now I left, remember, some here, and that's kind of just going to be filler. So where do you think it needs it? Is it completely round? Does it look like a triangle? When you put 3 together, sometimes it looks like a triangle. So I'll go in and just add them a little bit lower. So see how I did that? So fill in this side here, add in a few. Just do a couple at a time. Take your tape, tape them on, do a couple on each side of where the triangle is first. Okay. Because when you have 3 balls going together, you're inevitably going to have a little bit of a triangle thing going on. Okay. So put a couple in on the lower part. And when you tape them just up high, you can still move them. As soon as you tape it down, they're going to be sturdy and they're not going to move at all. So don't tape it all the way down until the end, and then you can play with them. Move some up if you need to, move some down. So once you get that tape, they are set in stone, baby. Okay. Maybe you need a couple at top. This one doesn't need a couple at top, but maybe yours do. So just look at it. Pull it away from yourself. I think that's like something all artists should do, is step away, look at it from a distance. Okay, so I have them all taped in there. And now I'm just going to take a minute, pull some out, push some down, make it really round. And I want it to kind of come down a little bit. So some of them, see what I'm doing there? Push some of them down. You can spread them out to make it bigger if you want. Okay, look at that. So pretty. Okay, I'm going to call that done. Maybe open it up a little bit if you want it bigger. Just spread it out. Okay, so now I'm going to tape it all the way down because I'm really happy with how it looks from all angles. Okay, and I showed you to tape them all down at first, but maybe you don't want to do that because you can't move them once you tape it down. Okay, so maybe just tape them all about here, and then after they're all positioned exactly where you want them, then go ahead and tape it all the way down. Making sure at this point you add enough tape that you're not gonna have rogue wires poking through your tape. So I'm gonna give it a little bit extra love here. And I'm gonna go ahead and just start again at the top and tape it twice. Okay. Okay. So I made this pretty tight. You could stretch it out. You saw how big they were at the beginning. You could stretch it out, make it bigger. But I pushed them together pretty tight. So if you want to pull them apart, you can do that. Make it much bigger. Okay? Yay! Okay, so last step. I've included 2 leaves in this. You can use these leaves just how they are if you want, but I'm going to show you a trick to add a little variance, okay? So what I would recommend is to trace the leaf on just a blank piece of paper and then practice on that blank piece of paper. So I want to cut into it and add some ridges because I don't want it to be smooth. I want it to be jaggedy like a hydrangea leaf is. But I would recommend not cutting your leaf first. Okay, so make a template, practice, maybe draw out what you want, then cut it, and then cut the leaf. So you can actually draw it, cut it out, put it over this leaf, and then cut into it. So you can have a couple practices. Does that make sense? But I'm not gonna practice, I'm just gonna do it, okay? So, I'll show you. See what I mean? Is that nice? Okay. But make it your own. Play with it a little bit. You can leave it just how it comes. Make it nice and smooth if you don't want to try. But I like a little bit of edges. It's pretty, I think. You hear my little dog? Mama! I can hear you out there. Okay, is that cool? So what you're gonna do next is hold it together, pinch it together, and then twist it to make it one stem. Okay, and then you can slightly bend the leaves. Gives it a little bit of life. Okay, and then guess I put a 90-degree bend, put it on there. And little dog in the background. So thank you for watching my first video, my first how-to video. Just sitting in my studio. I didn't even clean it up for you, just how it is. But I thank you for buying this kit, and if you didn't buy it, you can if you want to. Feel free to just make it on your own, but if you would like to buy all the supplies, Just go check it out, paperflowers.com, and you can Google hydrangea, and it should pop up if it's in stock. And if not, happy paper flower making. Thanks for watching, and I love you all.